Alright guys, Ireland have just played a very good performance against France. Now I expected this game France to completely dominate and eventually, sort of demolish Ireland, given how they played against Netherlands 3 days ago. And I'd heard a lot of hype about this Ireland team. This is the first time I've watched Ireland in a while, but I'd heard hype about the team with young players coming through like Evan Ferguson, Nathan Collins, Gavin Bazunu. And I wasn't really convinced, I'll be honest, because you hear about it with teams all the time where they've got a few good young players and you're like, yeah, they're decent players, but it's not really going to be enough when they come up against a top team like France, is what you think. But in this game, Ireland proved that they can, battle against the best, because France are one of the best. And that's undeniable because of the fact that in the last two World Cups, they reached the final in both and won one of them in 2018. And we're a penalty shootout from winning the last one a few months ago. So, Ireland's put in a brilliant display today. The first half, they completely held their own. They weren't attacking too much, although there were occasions where they were putting dangerous crosses in and causing France a few problems aerially in the area. But most of the time, in the first half, it was mainly about what they were doing defensively. They were getting a lot of players back, like they had a back three of Collins, Egan and O'Shea, and so they dealt with France's sort of front four, if you like, of Kolo Muani, Mbappe. Who else do they have? Kolo Muani, Mbappe, Giroud, Griezmann, obviously. Don't know, I forgot that for a second, but they dealt with it really well, and France didn't have a shot on target until they scored in around about the 55th minute. So that's really impressive in itself, the fact that you stop a team from, getting shots on goal. You're clearly doing something right when you're the underdog in a game and the team's not getting many shots off. So yeah, they were also stopping France from getting into dangerous situations full stop in the first half. Like there were only a couple of times where that happened, really. One of the times I think Kolo Muani managed to get past Bazunu, but was forced out wide, and the defenders in the end managed to smother the opportunity and get rid of it. And on the occasions they were able to get forward, for me, the man of the match in this game was Ogbene, who played on the right for Ireland. His ongoing battle with Theo Hernandez was completely fascinating, I think is the correct word to use, because Theo Hernandez is, for me, one of the best fullbacks in world football right now. I think most people would agree with that, given how he's putting really consistently brilliant performances for AC Milan for a couple of years now at least, and also his performances at the World Cup a couple of months ago. He is a top fullback going forward and defensively. And Ogbene I'd say it was a really close battle. It wasn't like he was challenging him, but Theo Hernandez dealt with him. There was many occasions where Ogbene managed to get past Hernandez and put a cross into the box. So, it was a really impressive performance by him in particular. But the whole team as a unit played really well, whether it be the three centre-backs I mentioned, Coleman and Doherty as wing-backs, Malumbi and Cullen in midfield. They were brilliant. The only disappointing thing, I think, for Ireland would be that the fact that I think whilst he was on the pitch, they didn't really get Evan Ferguson involved in play as much as they probably would have wanted to. Like maybe use him as like a target man. It's probably not quite his game. I mean, he can hold up the ball, but when you're coming up against two really physical and powerful, strong centre-halves like Ibrahima Konate and Dayot Upamecano, that's always going to be difficult to do. But the fact that Ireland managed to, just hold out France for 55 minutes, and the goal, it came from the first sort of real mistake that Ireland made all night in possession of the ball. And that was Cullen giving the ball away in what I wouldn't call like a dangerous area. Well, it is a dangerous area, but not an area where you instantly think, oh God, he's going to score here. It was a situation where he's played it short. I can't remember who it was he was trying to play it to. It might have been Doherty. He's played it a bit too short, and it wasn't probably the best option anyway. And it gets intercepted, and Pavard takes a shot, and it's a screamer. Fair enough. Like, it comes off the crossbar and in. But we've seen Pavard do it before for France. He scored goal of the tournament at Russia 2018, and so we know what he's capable of. So it was a poor decision from Cullen to give the ball away, or to even attempt that sort of risky pass in a risky area of the pitch to give the ball away. But that was France's first shot on target, and it was a wonder goal. So it's bad luck for Ireland. They lost 1-0 to France via bad luck. Well, not bad luck, but what I mean. Like on another day, that shot goes just over the bar and out for a goal kick. So it was a really impressive performance. And from then on in the game, France, I think they had a 10-minute spell after they scored where they continued to get forward. But Ireland made a few changes, and they brought on the likes of Adam Idah, James McLean, and Michael Obafemi, and it made a difference. Them getting forward, they put pressure on, and at the end of the game, they were winning corners, getting the ball in the box, and there were two occasions. The first one, Mike Maignan had to make a good save and push it out for another corner, but then Nathan Collins wins a header from a corner, and it's going top corner, and it is an absolute amazing save from Mike Maignan to deny Collins of an equaliser. In fact, I'd go as far as to say it's one of the best saves I've seen this year so far. Magnan's not the biggest keeper ever. I don't know how tall he is. He's probably 6'1", 6'2", maybe. And he has to use every single bit of power he can get to generate it, jumping to that height and outstretching his arm. It's an amazing save, and the reaction time of it as well. So it was one of them where Ireland were denied by a super piece of goalkeeping from Mike Maignan. But yeah, France, from their point of view, this game, I wouldn't say disappointing, because they got the win in the end. They managed to hold on, but I think maybe after how good they were against Netherlands, this is a little bit of I don't know what the right term to use for it was, but it might be a bit. It's not frustrating, but a bit of a pull down, if that makes sense. Sort of being pulled down a peg or two, realising that they are having to sort of fight it out just to hold on to a 1-0 lead against a team who aren't very highly ranked in international football, if that makes sense. So it's not disappointing for them. They got the win in the end. That's all they really wanted. But I think they would have felt more comfortable had it been 2 or 3 compared to the 1 goal. And Ireland, we've got to give some respect to Ireland, I think, in this game, just given how they managed to deal with the threat that France posed more than anything, and the fact that they even came close to getting something out of this game. It is a real step forward for them, given what they've achieved in international football over the past 10-15 years, which isn't a great deal. I think they qualified for Euro 2012 and Euro 2016, but they haven't qualified for a World Cup in a long time. But this is a real exciting moment for them more than anything. There are a couple of players in this Ireland squad who you would expect not really to be around by 2026, the next World Cup. And it's going to be hard for them to qualify for the next Euros, given that France and Netherlands are in the same group of them, and group as them, and it's top two in each group go through to the tournament automatically, although there are playoffs. But you would expect that at some point, well, France are going to qualify, let's face it, you'd expect that even though Netherlands haven't really thrashed Gibraltar tonight, and how they lost 4-0 to France at the weekend, you'd expect that they would still sort of get back to the performances they have showed over the past 2 or 3 years at some point, and it's going to be tough for a young Ireland team to maintain the performance level they've put in tonight, if that makes sense. So, you know, there's going to be a couple of players who aren't around by 2026, Seamus Coleman, the captain, being one of them, and a few more experienced players within the squad like James McLean. So, you know, they're going to need more players to be brought into this Ireland team, like youngsters, and they're going to need to be given experience, like they're currently given to the likes of Evan Ferguson, Bazunu, and Nathan Collins, but who for me are the standout young players in this Ireland team. But, you know, it's not impossible. They've got a good manager, and anything's achievable, really. In terms of getting to a tournament, I'm not suggesting winning it, but after tonight, I'm certainly convinced by this young Ireland team. I've heard good things about them, but I never really thought, that the future is definitely bright for them, like that they'll be getting to tournaments. But having watched them, that they are a good young team, and that they could achieve things in the future. I certainly think that for sure after watching that performance. But yeah, a bit more on France. That they got the job done, I guess. So that's the main thing to point out in this game. And I did hear a statistic during commentary as well, that Antoine Griezmann has now played 76 or 77, I can't remember exactly, but it was in the late 70s of appearances for France in a row. And to me, like consecutively, like that just sounds unreal, to be honest. 75 at least, I'm sure it was. 75 caps in a row for your country is unreal, and I think he's nearing 120 in total. So yeah, you can see why he's, you know, it was a talking point that he didn't get the captain's armband, given how consistent he has been for France, and how like in terms of performance levels and availability for them. So yeah, I mean, what statistic that is, but yeah. In the end, Ireland were just beaten by a superb goal from Benjamin Pavard and some brilliant goalkeeping from Mike Maignan in the end, I think is the bottom line to this game. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.